Good, happy Thursday morning, September 30th, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's get started right now. First step, Executive Council meeting postponed after anti-vaccine mandate protesters disrupted proceedings. Councilors say state employees feared for their lives. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
New Hampshire Chronicle, now in its 20th season. Watch new episodes weeknights at 7 on WMUR.
Wednesday's Executive Council meeting was held at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics in Manchester, but it fell apart before it could even begin.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Protesters opposed to COVID-19 vaccine mandates forced the cancellation of the meeting after people, including some public health employees, left in fear of their safety.
Yeah, okay, so I'm right here. You want to wear a mask? I'm trying. You want to take stats? I'm right here. Make me join it.
I've never seen that at a council meeting. I would hope to never see that again.
Executive Councilor Cindy Warmington says she expected to see councilors at the meeting, given the topic, federal funding for state vaccination efforts, has been a hot-button issue. But she says she never expected this.
Saying to people, I know where you live, I think that's intimidating and threatening, and I was very surprised by that.
Governor Sununu, who was on site at the council meetings, said these intimidation tactics will not be tolerated.
We're not going to let that bring us to a grinding halt by any means. We're still going to go forward, and we're going to do it in the right way, in the safe way.
And right now, no word on when the council will bring this issue back up. Reporting live at the State House, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rochester man arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman at Pitbull concert. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Guilford police arrested 33-year-old Gregory Joseph of Rochester. Joseph is charged with one count of second-degree assault for allegedly attacking 22-year-old Madison Audette at an August concert at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in Guilford. Audette was trying to break up a fight over a drink when she was struck.
Obviously, I was excited. I think it's something we've all been looking forward to because it's been about a month. So I didn't know what he looked like, so it was kind of good for me to be able to put, face to it.
Audette suffered what doctors call the conversion functionality disorder caused by the force of the trauma and was paralyzed from the waist down. She spent 16 days in the hospital, followed by rehab. But she's home now with Charlie and her other 3 dogs, walking with assistance and sometimes without. She's also working on balance and using the stairs.
Prognosis-wise, it looks great. It looks like I'm going to make a full recovery.
Guilford detectives interviewed 20 people and used video recordings from the night of the attack to make the arrest. Joseph's assault charge is a Class B felony, which carries a maximum jail sentence of 7 years.
I hope he learns his lesson. It's not that I want to just put him in jail for 7 years and just say rot away kind of thing. I think there's always a lesson to be learned, especially, in jail.
The Madison's family wanted to express its gratitude to the Guilford Police Department, specifically the 2 detectives who stuck with the case and delivered justice for Maddie. Reporting live, Jason King, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire seeks to set up 4 new COVID-19 testing sites across the state. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
That's right, Jen. 4 additional sites expected to open in the next 3 to 4 weeks. The commissioner says right now they are ironing out the details with a private contractor. The state will use FEMA money to pay for the testing centers. The locations have not yet been determined, but Commissioner Lori Chivinette says they will go where there are gaps in testing options or in areas of higher population. Schools are also part of the surveillance testing initiative under the Safer at Schools program, or SAS. $40 million was provided for the program from the federal government. To date, 45 SAUs representing 163 schools, as well as 20 private schools, have signed up to participate.
They can pick from one of, I think there's 3 vendors that are doing the school testing. They reach out to them directly, set up a schedule, and it's really a very simple process.
And there is money left for this program. Schools interested in signing up can contact DHHS. No testing is done without parental consent. We're live in Concord this evening. Amy Cavino, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Active COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations rise in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Great, good afternoon. I have a numbers update, then I have a few comments about what has transpired the last couple of weeks around authorization and recommendation of vaccines for booster doses. So first, the numbers. We're reporting 443 new people diagnosed with COVID-19 today. In the last week and in the last few weeks, we have continued to average between 400 to 500 new infections per day. And currently there are 3,648 people with active infection. The test positivity has been slowly declining the last several weeks. Currently we're averaging around 4.8% of all infections, of all tests positive for COVID-19. Hospitalizations have also remained elevated. There are 146 people currently hospitalized statewide in our hospitals with COVID-19. And then, unfortunately, 2 new people that we're reporting that have died from COVID-19, bringing the total to 1,479 deaths during this pandemic in New Hampshire. Neither of these 2 individuals was associated with a long-term care facility, and in fact, the majority of deaths that we are identifying and reporting out on a daily and weekly basis continue to be community-associated deaths from COVID-19. Some brief remarks here about booster doses. So as I'm sure everybody is aware, last week the FDA authorized the use of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for use as a booster dose, and then the ACIP, that's the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, and the CDC recommended use of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for booster doses in certain at-risk individuals. I want to emphasize, though, that our goal in public health is still focused on vaccinating people who have not yet completed a primary vaccination series to become fully vaccinated. A primary COVID-19 vaccination series or vaccine series remains effective. So putting this another way, a 2-dose series of Pfizer, 2 doses of the Moderna vaccine, or a 1-dose J&J Janssen vaccine remains effective at preventing COVID-19, preventing infection, preventing severe illness, hospitalization, and death. In fact, a recent study highlighted the fact that unvaccinated people, people that are not fully vaccinated, are at a 5-fold higher risk of infection, 10-fold higher risk of hospitalization, and 11-fold higher risk of death from COVID-19 compared to people who are fully vaccinated. So even while boosters become available, it's important for everybody who is not yet fully vaccinated to become fully vaccinated, for people who have not taken the step to get their first shot to do so, for people that have received only 1 dose of a 2-dose series to complete their vaccination series. And we continue to recommend that even people who were previously infected with COVID-19 should also become fully vaccinated. People who have been naturally infected do have some protection, do have some immunity against recurrent infection, but studies have shown that vaccination after natural infection provides higher levels of protection and likely a longer duration of protection and immunity. A lot of our focus continues to be on vaccinating the unvaccinated. And then finally, my last comment, we are entering flu season. Flu season is imminent. And I want to also highlight that it continues to be a public health recommendation that everybody 6 months of age and older seek out an influenza vaccine this season. People can receive both the COVID-19 vaccine and the influenza vaccine at the same time and during the same visit. It's important for people that may have been vaccinated against influenza in the past to get an updated flu vaccine this season. There are 4 different strains of the flu that are protected against. 2 of them have been updated in this year's vaccine. The H1N1 strain and the H3N2 strain of the flu virus have been updated. So continue to also recommend that as we enter the flu season, that people also seek out an influenza vaccine. And again, it remains important for everybody who's eligible to get vaccinated with both the COVID-19 vaccine as well as the influenza vaccine. And in fact, both vaccines can be given at the same appointment and during the same visit. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick updates from me. An outbreak update, we have 6 outbreak to close today: Bellamy Field, Carriage Hill, Pleasant View, Ridgewood Center, Rockingham County Nursing and Rehab, and Wyndham Terrace Assisted Living, all closed since our last press conference. We have 3 new outbreaks to announce today: Cheshire County Department of Corrections, Riverside Rest Home, and Summercrest Senior Living. So that brings our total outbreak, our current institutional outbreaks to 10 in our state. Just an update on contact tracing. All along through the pandemic, we have done as many case investigations as possible with all of the cases. One of the reasons for doing those case investigations and contact tracing is to learn more about transmission pathways, risks of close contacts, and other features of the virus. We know most of this information now. So for the last year and a half, we've tallied that information. So we really want to hone our contact tracing into what we typically do for infectious disease. So what you're going to see is us prioritizing our contact tracing around outbreaks, specifically unusual cases, providing support to our partners in the communities like schools or nursing homes, congregate living settings, anything like that, and then keeping our surveillance and dashboards up to date. We're still going to monitor and track demographics and variants and breakthrough cases, but really prioritizing our contact tracing in the community for outbreaks and congregate living settings. One last thing is there's a lot of talk nationally about testing resources and shortage of testing. We are in contract negotiations with a private vendor to start setting up some testing sites around the state, in really being able to contract and expand depending on what the volume is and what the need is in the state. So we'll start in the coming weeks, depending on contract approval through governor and council and those types of things. We will be setting up 4 sites in the next 3 to 4 weeks to do widespread PCR testing as our volumes continue to increase. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Schools dealing with COVID-19 clusters as state officials propose restrictions to remote learning. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tonight, I'll be eating a club sandwich with fries and a side of mayonnaise. Wonderful.
Mayonnaise on fries.
A little judgy, don't you think?
That's weird. So weird.
COVID clusters prompting Manchester school officials to shift 3 elementary school classes to remote learning. 2 classrooms at Parker Varney and 1 at Green Acres will be back on Monday. The district making the decision, it says, out of an abundance of caution to stop the spread and keep as many students in person as possible.
We currently do have the authority
to pivot to remote as a school or a district if that's what the board chooses to do.
But the head of the School Administrators Association is concerned that under new proposed rules by the Department of Education, the ability to shift to fully remote will not be in their control unless it's weather-related.
Only in the circumstances where, all of the children in the classroom either had COVID, were a close household contact, or the parents were interested in that as an option.
At a certain point, there are going to be schools that will not have the staff to be able to be physically open, either because of quarantining or because of actually having COVID.
The plan essentially mandates an in-person option.
But in fact, what we've given them kind of a permissive approach to be able to use this tool where it makes sense for both the school and for the families in that district.
If the rule proposal goes through the normal process, there will be a hearing in November, and it could be in place by the end of the year. We're live in Portsmouth. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Lewandowski fired by Trump Super PAC after woman alleges he made unwanted sexual advances. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Windham's Corey Lewandowski no longer running former President Donald Trump's Super PAC. A Trump spokesman posted on Twitter tonight that former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi will take over running MAGA Action, as it's called, and says Lewandowski will be going on to other endeavors. This comes after Politico reported that Lewandowski made unwanted sexual advances toward a Trump donor at a charity event in Las Vegas over the weekend. An attorney for Lewandowski did not directly respond to that allegation.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. Postal Service expected to be slower and more expensive ahead of the holiday season. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by RootMetrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power, proving there's only one best network.
Well, if you get or send mail, you need to hear about this. The U.S. Postal Service is making some big changes ahead of the holiday rush.
Changes that will have direct impact on you. And among them, longer wait times for letters and packages. Also, delivery prices are going up, and that's going to impact everything from cars to home appliances, canned goods, and even blue jeans. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello has the details.
Yeah, hey, Aaron and Morgan, good day. So, yeah, the Help Wanted sign is out at the Postal Service. That's really a sign of the times, right? But the bottom line for you at home, you're going to be likely paying more to send certain packages, even letters, and it really is going to depend on how far you're shipping. If it's coast to coast, expect to pay even more. It's going to impact your holiday packages, your holiday cards, and if you're a small business owner, expect to pay more in the coming days. It's yet another change to the nation's mail system that's got customers talking and complaining.
It's very frustrating because you tell them, well, I sent this, it's on the way, and it never gets there.
It's been so unpredictable and unreliable that I'm at a loss of what to really do.
Starting this Friday, some first-class mail will take up to 2 days longer to arrive, largely affecting standard-sized letters and flat-rate envelopes traveling longer distances. As for package rates, prices will also go up for commercial and retail customers from 75 cents to $5 more, depending on how heavy the package is and how far it's going. And FedEx users will also see price jumps starting in November. That's when an extra surcharge kicks in on some shipments, including FedEx Express, ground, and freight packages. The shifts in service and new price hikes coming ahead of an even bigger holiday season surge expected this year. The USPS says it will hire more than 40,000 seasonal workers to handle what's expected to be a record number of deliveries. That's amid a shortage of tens of thousands of truck drivers nationwide. All of it a stress test for a shipping industry on the brink. Sky-high service charges and longer wait times are already trickling down to the pocketbooks of everyday consumers, from home appliances to canned goods to jeans, with some prices already jumping nearly 25%.
Definitely across the board, expect to pay a little bit more, wait a little bit longer for the things that you would have normally taken for granted.
And customers are also paying extra at the nation's car dealerships, where a global computer chip shortage is leading to a shortage of new cars. Many truck and car assembly lines are now on pause. I asked Ford Chairman Bill Ford when assembly lines will get back on track. How long will it take, do you believe, for that computer chip shortage to hopefully right itself and for cars to show up in showrooms again?
We are making progress. I think we'll continue to make progress through the fourth quarter into next year, but we're probably going to be living with this for some time.
So now back to the problems at the post office. Why are we seeing a sudden rate increase? This is all part of Postmaster Louis DeJoy's plan to try to right the ship. As you know, the Postal Service is just under tremendous debt. Now, this is a controversial plan. A lot of people don't like it whatsoever, but among his plans, he wants to cut the amount of airmail they use, go to more ground delivery, more trucks across the country. He says that's cheaper, more economical, and makes more sense. Make no mistake, though, the Postal Service is competing against and struggling against USPS, the FedEx, as well as Amazon's own delivery service. Morgan and Aaron, back to you guys.
Thanks for watching our
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.